Spermidine is a polyamine, a small molecule found in every living cell on Earth. It was discovered in 1678 by Anton van Leeuwenhoek, yes, the microscope guy who found crystals of it in human semen, which is how it got its name. Here's why it matters for aging. Spermidine levels in your cells decline by 30 to 50% as you get older. And that decline tracks with some of the fundamental processes of aging: loss of cellular cleanup, increased inflammation, and mitochondrial dysfunction. The good news is that spermidine is found naturally in many foods. Wheat germ is the richest source, about 200 to 300 milligrams per kilogram. Aged cheese, soy products, shiitake mushrooms, and legumes are also good sources. Your grandmother's advice to eat your vegetables? She was onto something. Spermidine's main longevity mechanism is autophagy, your cell's internal cleanup process. But it induces autophagy in a way that's completely different from every other intervention. Most autophagy inducers, rapamycin, caloric restriction, fasting, work by inhibiting a protein called mTOR. They basically tell your cells stop growing, start cleaning. Spermidine takes a different route. It's the only substrate for a unique modification called hypusination, which activates a protein called EIF5A. That protein is then required to produce TFEB, the master regulator of autophagy genes. What makes this remarkable is that spermidine induces autophagy without touching mTOR at all. It works downstream, through a completely independent pathway. That means it could theoretically be combined with rapamycin or intermittent fasting for an additive effect. And it means you get autophagy without some of the trade-offs of mTOR inhibition. The animal data for spermidine comes primarily from one research group, the Madeo lab at the University of Graz in Austria, and they've been remarkably consistent. In 2009, they showed that spermidine extended lifespan in yeast by 40%. The effect was dependent on autophagy. When they knocked out the autophagy genes, the benefit disappeared completely. In 2011, they showed similar effects in flies, 30% extension, and worms, 10 to 20%. Then came the mouse study in 2016, published in Cell. Male mice given spermidine in their drinking water lived 10% longer on average, and maximum lifespan was extended by 16 to 25%. But the really striking finding was cardiac. Aged mice on spermidine had better heart function, less fibrosis, and lower blood pressure. The hearts of old mice looked young. And in 2020, they showed that even starting spermidine late in life in very old mice still improved survival and reduced liver cancer. It's never too late to start cleaning up your cells. The human data is where spermidine gets really interesting. The most important study is the Bruneck study, published in 2018. Researchers followed about 800 elderly people in Bruneck, Italy, a small town in the Alps, and measured their dietary spermidine intake using detailed food questionnaires. The result was striking. People in the highest spermidine intake group had 58% lower all-cause mortality compared to the lowest group. That's a huge effect. They also had lower blood pressure and less heart failure. Since then, clinical trials have started to confirm the signal. The TASCC trial in 2022, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study, gave 150 elderly adults 1.2 milligrams of spermidine per day for 12 months. The result, improved verbal memory and a 4 mm reduction in systolic blood pressure. Another trial found improved endothelial function, your blood vessels' ability to relax and dilate. The human data is still early, one major epidemiological study and a few small trials, but the consistency across measures is compelling. Here's what makes spermidine different from every other longevity compound we've covered. You can get meaningful amounts from food, without supplements or prescriptions. Wheat germ is the champion. 1 tablespoon of wheat germ contains about 2 to 3 milligrams of spermidine. Sprinkle it on yogurt, oatmeal, or a smoothie. Aged cheddar cheese has about the same concentration. Soybeans, natto, tofu, shiitake mushrooms, green peas, and chickpeas are all solid sources. The Mediterranean diet, which consistently ranks as one of the healthiest dietary patterns, is naturally high in spermidine. Whole grains, legumes, aged cheeses, mushrooms, these are all staples. The typical Mediterranean diet provides 8 to 15 milligrams of spermidine per day. The typical Western diet provides 5 to 7. It's not a coincidence that the diet known to be healthy also happens to be high in an autophagy-inducing polyamine. If you want a supplement, Spermidine is available as a wheat germ extract in capsules, typically 1 to 5 mg per dose, costing $25 to $50 a month. Clinical trials have used doses from 1 to 10 mg per day. The Madeo lab, the researchers who discovered most of this, recommends a combination approach. Get a baseline from diet, and consider a low-dose supplement to fill the gap. Spermidine's oral bioavailability is estimated at 15 to 25%, and it's better absorbed with food. No serious side effects have been reported in any trial. Mild GI issues at high doses, but nothing compared to the side effect profiles of rapamycin or even metformin. So where does Spermidine stand? Animal data is strong, from yeast all the way to mice. The lifespan and healthspan benefits are consistent. Human data is promising but early, one major epidemiological study and a few small trials. The safety profile is excellent. What makes Spermidine unique is its mechanism, autophagy induction without mTOR inhibition. And its accessibility, you can get meaningful amounts from the grocery store. The cancer concern, polyamines are elevated in tumors, doesn't hold up to scrutiny. The Bruneck study showed lower cancer incidence in the high Spermidine group. Animal studies show reduced liver cancer. The theoretical risk applies to established cancers, not prevention. For most people, the practical recommendation is simple: eat more Spermidine-rich foods. Wheat germ on your oatmeal. Aged cheese as a snack. More legumes, mushrooms, and soy. That's a longevity intervention that costs pennies a day. Spermidine is one of the few longevity molecules you can get from food in meaningful amounts. Start in the kitchen, then decide if supplementation makes sense. Subscribe for more evidence-based content, and drop a comment. What's your favorite Spermidine-rich food?